Clive, thank you very much for playing at the Blues Festival this year.
It's going to be great fun. Looking forward to it.
Now, you've done quite a lot of things in your time. I believe you've played with Liam Gallagher, Richard Hawley, Corbin Bailey Ray.
Yeah, I played a handful of times with Liam and for a few years with Richard.
James, you just mentioned.
Yeah. Well, they were all friends.
And why the harmonica? What?
The sound of it. I just thought that is a great noise. And everybody I knew played guitars, and I thought, who needs another terrible guitar player? Because that's all I would ever be and still am, is a terrible guitar player. But the sound of that pricked my ears up, and I thought, I'll see if I can do that. And off I went.
And there you go. And now you're sort of harmonica legend.
Legend, yes. Might be surprising.
So here we are in Whalley Range.
Whalley Range.
And it has a bit of history. Do you know the Chorltonville thing, the 1964?
Yeah, I do know of it.
Station thing?
Yeah, I do know of it, and I know exactly where it was. A friend of mine lives on the road that the station was at the end of.
And it's just down the road from here, isn't it?
It's about a mile from here.
Yeah.
It's the end of a road called Athol Road, which is where the station was. It was called Wilbraham Road Station.
Right.
There's no longer a train track there. No. It's a cycle path now.
Right.
And there's nothing left of the station apart from one bit of concrete. It was clearly a significant moment in the history of blues stuff. I mean, my pal who actually lives on that road, which is like a matter of yards away from where the event took place, said he was in. It was a Blues Hall of Fame somewhere. I can't remember what city he said it was in, but they had a photograph of Sister Rosetta Tharpe from that show.
Right.
And he was stood talking to his wife saying, "Oh, that's at the end of our road." And the curators heard him and said, "What do you mean?" And they went, "Well, that was a gig that took place at the end of my road." And the curators got him to sit down and explain where it was from and why. The Granada Television in the early 60s took a punt on spending, I think, most of about half their budget for that year on that one event.
It was a big production, wasn't it?
Because the guy thought, well, they hired a train and they hired the station and they, got the cameras out and everything. So it was a really big do. They put a lot of effort into making something which is a real piece of history now. Hardly any film of those characters exists.
Physically, there's not much left, but musically, I think it probably inspired a lot of people. And it still resounds today, doesn't it?
Well, it did. It did infect Manchester, and indeed you can argue the whole of the Mersey region, as well as London, the Rolling Stones, and that, because there was a thing called Mersey Beat in the 60s, which the Beatles were clearly part of, and then you've got bands from Manchester like the Hollies and stuff like that, who were all influenced by the pop music of the day and the blues music that went on.
Okay, so this leads me to the question that I'm asking everybody.
All right, big question.
What is the blues?
Well, it depends what perspective you look at it from, but thinking about it for myself, there's a bit of blues in almost every piece of music that you find affecting, something that moves you somewhere. Even if it's just the stuff of like Cole Porter's Major to Minor and things like that. And the idea that, as you said more than once, the idea that blues is a sad thing is really quite foolish, because you look at any of the bits of film that there are of blues clubs when it was being done in the 50s, people are dancing.
Yeah.
You're not going to get people to come in and have fun and pay the money over the bar if you're just making them all miserable. This has got to be something which is invigorating and brings you to life. You get stuff that comes from, Virginia or Carolina or Texas or Chicago or Mississippi, and they're all different. They all use completely different ideas. They're not the same.
So, they've all taken their own little ideas from this. I don't know where originally, obviously, there was an origin at some point. It was gospel and spiritual
look, let's
music.
face it, there are whole bookshelves of books about this very topic. Where did it come from and how did it blend? We're not going to come up with a definitive answer in the next 2 minutes.
So it is very hard to pin down, isn't it?
It is, but I tend to think it's about its emotional content rather than just these are the notes.
Yes, I agree. And it can be very personal to everybody. I think it should be very personal to everybody. And I suppose if you think about all the great players They always, you could always know who it's Muddy
Yeah.
Waters or it's Howling Wolf.
Yeah,
or
and you
you
can
always
tell
know
straight away.
who
Yeah.
it is. Right?
Yeah.
B.B. King, you know.
They're not just a blob that are all kind of the
No,
same.
not
They're
at
all
all.
incredibly individual.
So, folks, play your blues the way you want to.
Yeah, do that.